As the earth piled up around us, Kai grew anxious.
Tianyi, what if we see a ghost?
That's just superstition, I reassured him.
But the candles?
Here's the scientific explanation. The candles are to make sure the air is good. You know how poisonous gases can build up underground? If the flame goes out, there's definitely not enough oxygen, and we know to get out as soon as we can. His fears allayed, Kai dug in with gusto, no doubt motivated by thoughts of coffins stuffed with jewels. As for me, I was nervous too. My grandfather had definitely alluded to seeing what he called unclean beings. But we'd deal with anything of that nature when we came to it. Soon we had a hole about the size of a bucket, wide enough for a skinny body like mine, though a tight fit for Kai, who was bigger than I was. Our shovels began hitting empty air. I shined my flashlight into the blackness reaching far down below. I could just make out the walls, which didn't look like they'd been carved out by human hands, more by some giant beast with extremely sharp claws. Nothing for it but to jump in. There was some danger, of course. Tombs of this era had sophisticated security, not like crude Tang Dynasty safeguards with their falling rocks and tripwires. These Liao graves were more likely to have jars of dragon oil that roared to life when exposed to air and engulfed intruders in flame. I hoped my gold hunter's knowledge would allow me to spot anything like that. Kai landed with a thump beside me, the soft earth providing a gentle landing. I already had my flashlight out and was examining the small chamber we found ourselves in. It was mostly empty, except for some animal skins hung on the walls and 3 lumps in one corner. I had to stifle a cry when I realized the lumps were dead bodies. So far gone their skin was black and clinging to their bones, ants crawling in and out of their eye sockets. Kai's jaw dropped.
Tianyi, are these the WildMan?
I shook my head. Whoever heard of a savage wearing clothes? The coats that wrapped the bodies could only be a few decades old. I plucked a metallic button off a collar and examined it. A military emblem, but not all the symbols were familiar. Then, in a flash, I realized who they were, and also where the stories about wild men in the valley had come from. These were Japanese soldiers. I told Kai, who seemed bewildered.
But why?
He muttered.
Why would they be here? I thought the devils went home after they surrendered.
My history was a bit hazy, but I did remember what else happened in 1945, just before the Japanese surrendered. The Soviets bombed the invading Japanese forces in northeast China, and the surviving soldiers scattered into the forests. These soldiers must have stumbled onto this cave and hidden out, maybe growing old here, certainly dying. While they were alive, their clothes must have grown tattered and their beards long. So any villagers sighting them would have thought these were wild men of the woods. One mystery solved, and it was barely past midnight. Not bad, but there'd be nothing here for us. We'd need to head farther in. First, we reached into our rucksacks for our masks, which hung neatly from our ears, covering our mouth and nose completely. It's unseemly to leave living breath inside a grave, or even worse, to accidentally breathe life into a corpse. A low tunnel led to more rooms, though there was no sign that the Japanese soldiers had made it this far. We pressed on through these bubbles of air in the soft, dark earth, some empty, some holding less important tombs, concubines or servants buried with their lord. Finally, we came to the main burial chamber, at least 100 feet square, with a courtyard before it, as if this were a regular home. There was no platform for the tomb, only a shallow indentation with the coffin sunk into it, a tomb within a tomb. The walls were tiled and painted over with a series of scenes, the colors as vivid as the day they were created. Some showed hunting scenes, others some kind of banquet. All of them featured a man in a fox fur coat. This must be the lord whose grave we were visiting. We quickly explored the surrounding rooms, marveling at the riches within. There were anterooms to the left and right, each crammed with porcelain urns and other ceramics. To the rear were the skeletons of 4 horses, buried with the man whose chariot they'd pulled, and a few suits of armor. Finally, we got down to business. I lit a candle in the southeast corner of the room, pulling out my compass for verification, then knelt before the sunken coffin. It was a sizable box of rosewood inlaid with gold decorations. I touched it reverently. The wood was heavier than what regular people could have afforded, made from the very core of a tree. Carefully, I pushed a chisel into the line where the lid fit on, and Kai did the same on the other side. With a creak, the smallest gap appeared. We did the same all down the sides, prying nail after nail loose, little explosions of dust making us through our masks. As the last nail popped up, what do you think we'll find inside?
Something worth a whole bunch of yuan, I hope.
Kai said. I deepened my voice. You know, there's a prophecy about two grave robbers, one fat and one skinny. They venture into a deep, dark burial chamber and see a coffin that opens the tiniest crack, and a huge arm shoots out, covered in green fur, with fingernails 3 inches long. Kai let out a little.
Stop it!
It grabs the fat one and pulls him into the coffin, and there's nothing left of him but his final, blood-curdling scream. The other guy runs away in time.
No more messing around. You almost scared me to death.
We took hold of the wooden lid and heaved it to the floor with a crash, after which the silence seemed deeper than before. Inside the coffin lay a tall man, all the moisture in his body shriveled away, leaving bruised-looking purple skin hugging bones. This corpse had to be 1,000 years old. There were nothing but black holes where the eyes and nose should have been. The man wore a faded scarlet robe with tattered gold embroidery and a wrinkled, mold-spotted pair of cloud-striding boots. My scalp prickled, but excitement was stronger than fear. Clasping my hands, I recited the ancient prayer. Revered sir, we are poor and have no choice but to take a few small articles from you. No offense is intended, for you have long departed into the sky and into the ground, dust to dust, earth to earth. Your wealth is only external. You didn't bring it with you into this world, nor can you take it with you. These treasures will improve the lives of many like us. Before I could finish, Kai was already reaching into the coffin, feeling around for anything valuable. He took out a tricolor water jar. Careful, I hissed. Don't disturb the body. He continued rooting away, and I picked up one of the urns next to us, the better to hold any jewels we might find. Despite myself, I was trembling. I was a gold hunter now. My own hand landed on something cool and hard. Jade, even better. Gold fetched a high price, but jade was priceless. This piece was exquisitely carved into a pair of wings. A moth. Song Dynasty by the look of it. How much would this be worth? I stood still, admiring it, thinking how many yuan it would fetch from a Hong Kong or Taiwan buyer. Tens of thousands, at least. Was there even such a thing as a 10,000 yuan note? Lost in my fantasies, it took me a second to realize Kai had gasped loudly and was now staring in alarm at something behind me. Turning around, I saw nothing at first. Then I realized, sometime in the last few minutes, our candle had gone out.